Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nastaprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam 3.7.3. Let me share my screen. Kridayam Udyamor Bhashya Kamas Chikri Disan Yataha Svatas Triptasya Cha Katham Nivrutasya Sadhanyatah Kridayam Udyamor Bhashya Kamas Chikri Dishanyatah Swatastriptasya Cha Katham Nivrutasya Sadhanyatah. Translation. Boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys or with various diversions because they are encouraged by desire. But there is no possibility of such desire for the Lord because he is self-satisfied and detached from everything at all times. Purport. Since the Supreme Personality of Godhead is one without a second, there is no possibility that anything besides him can exist. He expands himself by his energies in multi-forms of self-expansions and separated expansions as well, just as fire expands itself by heat and light. Since there is no other existence besides the Lord himself, the Lord's association with anything manifests his association with himself. In Bhagavad Gita 9.4, Lord says, Maya tatam idam sarvam jagatavyatamurtina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshvavastitah. The complete manifestation of cosmic situation is an expansion of Lord himself. In his impersonal feature, all things are situated in him only, yet he is not in them. That is the opulence of Lord's attachment and detachment. He is attached to everything, yet he is detached from all. Om Agnanatimirandasya Nananjana Shalake Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhabhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharanine Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarne Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaura Bhaktaranda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mokam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giram Yatkrupathamaham Vande Shri Gurum Denataranam Garvananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Nananandamayam Devam Sprakakudamandaram Savityanamaya. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. And thank you for giving opportunity to do this service, Lakshmikant Prabhu. So this chapter entitled that further inquiries from Vidura to Maitreya. I started reading a little bit and then heard some few lectures. I feel it was very technical for me. If a Krishna Katha, some pastimes it's easy to hear and narrate that pastime. It's very easy because we are totally into hearing stories from our childhood, whether Chandamama, it used to be a small book in our childhood, or nowadays it's all TV cartoons. Some pastimes of Krishna, looking at it, we understand it because visually it's easy hearing. But when you go to technicalities, it's very difficult to understand, especially Srimad Bhagavatam. But this is made easy by Srila Prabhupada if we understand, or when you hear from realized souls. Ardhamataji last week in her in that Bhakti Vaibhav class was explaining it was very technical again, but the way she was explaining was like, wow, oh, that's all. So when realized souls and devotees with so much understanding speak, things are easy to understand. For me, with limited knowledge, I don't know how much I can give this message, but I'll try. The main thing, if I understand this pastime earlier, I don't know what happened, what is the situation. Krishna had spoken to Uddhava and he was given a Uddhava Gita. And then Uddhava and Vidura met, right? They had a lot of conversations. Actually, and then before that, Krishna left and also Uddhava also left. I think he went to Badrikashram or somewhere. And then further inquiries, again, Krishna also had met Maitreya, looks like, and Maitreya has his preaching. That means he has to give the message to the people in the association. That means give the association of Krishna to everyone. And now Vidura comes and asks and meets with Maitreya again. And you see the devotees who are very greedy to understand and do serve Krishna in many ways. If you become one becomes greedy, that means more inquiry. If you want to hear more inquiry about Krishna, nobody can understand Krishna. It's not easy to understand Krishna. That's what I was thinking about. That I know Krishna is different than, we can all say, I know, yes, Krishna, we have seen the form of Krishna in the deity form. And then the pictures, we know Krishna. But the person who is realized, he understands that he doesn't understand about Krishna. And he inquires more about Krishna with the realized souls. And of course, Vidura is also a realized soul, but he's still inquiring with Maitreya more about Krishna. How do I understand this? How do you understand that? Why is it like this? So this is what the inquiry aspect comes in place, to understand more and more, because there is never ending. As I was thinking about that 4 verses of Brahma, and that whole entire Bhagavatam, that became 18,000 verses. But if I understand, it is more than 1 billion verses. And these 18,000 verses to understand about Krishna, even in spite if he is an expert with realized soul, if he understands, he reads everything, still he wants, There is a burning desire to understand more. This is Krishna consciousness. It's mind-boggling. And then the inquiry happens and inquiry happens. The whole Bhagavatam is a question and answer session, basically. And we have to be involved every day to understand if somebody is asking a question or somebody is answering it. We just listen there, sit and listen and hear. In that way, our hearts are purified. This is what my understanding. I'm not into very specific scriptures. This sloka, that's I'm very. I don't know much about that, but at least hearing about few things here and there with my limited understanding, I'm just trying to say something. So in this verse, he's telling that boys are enthusiastic to play with other boys or with various diversions because they have it encouraged by desire. So Krishna, now we understand from this verse, Krishna is self-satisfied, but we are not self-satisfied as a conditioned soul. Krishna is detached. He creates everything and it detaches from that. A watchmaker, Prabhupada says many times, he creates the watch and puts it in the market. And then we don't know what happens to those watches. If you maintain that watches well, then it runs. If you play with and mess with that, then it'll fail. But many times we have seen, if you buy a watch, it'll long last. But if you play around, then mess around with that watch, then it's a problem. Even the same material nature. Krishna has created this material nature for us because it was our desire. So that's why Krishna fulfilled creating this material world with all the modes, so that which can facilitate for all of us to enjoy independent of Krishna. And now is in that way, what happens is Krishna has given everything and is also given the free will. And we are birth after birth of time, from time immemorial, we are trying to enjoy in this material world because of that lust and desire, one desire after the other. We never get satisfied. But Krishna is self-satisfied. Why? In spite of he creates everything, he is detached. That's what the translation says. Now, to understand more, Krishna creates everything and he is in it, but is not in it. What does that mean? Sun God is there. It's scorching heat actually. Sun, if you look at the sun in the morning, it's nice. After that, in this month of July, there's a world records that highest heat temperatures. Phoenix 110, 108. I'm just reading and hearing many looking at, and it's the July is very hard for so many people, very hot. His sun is with us? No, he is millions of miles away. But he is producing that heat and light during this summer because it's nearing to the earth. Equator, if you think about the equator, it's still hot, right? So Krishna is there in the spiritual world, Golok Vrindavan, but he is also here. Right? How is he there and how is he here? He is there in the form of his energies, external energy. So that's how Krishna is there. It's not that he's not there, he's there. He's there in the BT form, he's there in everywhere. He's sitting in our heart as well. That's the expansion of an expansion of an expansion. It is there. Krishna is there everywhere, right? But he's not there. Why? Where is he? Is actually in the spiritual world. So material energy is also an expansion of Krishna. So in that way, when the fire and the heat and light coming from Krishna, from the sun, is the same way. Krishna is there, but his his energy is also there. So, and why are all those are there? It is only for us to survive as long as we want to be in this material world. And as long as we are there in this material world, even the Vedas, person who is accustomed to reading Vedas and then satisfy that desire, also he will perform many rituals and he will never get satisfied birth after birth after birth. Because we do many things in this material world and we get attached, we have a desire after desire. I want this. There is never ever get satisfied because we are trying to satisfy every desire and it is never ending. That is why we are bound by this material nature. Because even the time we are taken birth, today all the children are given, now if I see in general, iPhones. I want is there for everyone because that, of course, it's coming from your previous birth that I want. That's why I came here. Then the more he looks at it, he wants more. So that desire is a burning desire for everyone in this material world. That is why we are not getting satisfied. But Krishna owns everything and is self-satisfied. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.4 says that by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. See, this is nothing but that Krishna is telling that I am there in the form of my energies, right? I am there in the form of energies. But how do we understand is, I just want to read these 4 lines here. It's very interesting where Prabhupada brings up. Lord Shri Krishna's name, fame, pastimes, etc. cannot be understood by material senses. Only to one who is engaged in pure devotional service under proper guidance is he revealed. In Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santas Sadaiva Hridayesha Vilokayanti. One can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, always within himself and outside himself, if one has developed the transcendental loving attitude towards him. Thus, for people in general, is not visible. Here it is said, although he is all pervading, everywhere present, is not conceivable by material senses. Prabhupada is giving in that 4 lines all the punchlines. He is giving us how do we get satisfied? We have seen in so many acharyas, they're always blissful. Look at their we'll just looking at their face, they're very blissful, very bright all the time. Many sannyasis, many maharajas in our movement. Srila Prabhupada, of course, I have not seen Srila Prabhupada, but at least disciples have seen. They're always enthusiastic, they're always smiling, and they're satisfied. I just want to one day, no, 3 days, 2 days ago, there was some office work issues was going on. And then I was a little bit maybe working at home, working at this, little, what do you call, little stress. Stress is a stress anyway. And then I went to the temple in the evening. I saw Dhananjay Pandit Prabhu in the evening. And then, Prabhu, how is it going? He said he went in the morning for Mangalarati. He did his service. He did the dressing of Radha Shyam Sundar. And then he has his own details, actually, right? He does that Abhishekam every day. And then after that, anyway, he has to cook in the morning services. He has to offer the breakfast. And then after that, there were, he has to cook for the Rajbhog also, because there were, what happens, somebody is not feeling well, somebody is not allowed to come, etc. So he continued his services in the morning till Rajbhog, and he came to his kutir, and then he did his services for Radha Sham, Vrindavan Chandra and other deities. And then he goes back again in the evening, that he has the services to do for Radha Shamasundar again, night dressing. It was a non-stop. And he was also getting ready to move from this temple to the other temple. So I just looking at, and then in spite of all those, he's smiling. Then I realized, for me, doing a little bit here and there at home and talking to the people in the office, little bit, I'm already stressed. Krishna taught me a very good lesson. What I did was nothing compared to what Dhananjay Pandit Prabhu did that day. And in spite of everything, he's smiling. Why? If I look at him, he's always satisfied, self-satisfied. Why? Because he is doing services of Krishna. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Bhakti Ruchate is coming. When Bhakti comes only, you'll get satisfied. Yes. So that was my understanding and realization. Wow, Krishna made me happen. Somehow I went to the temple and I saw him and he made me smile. And next day morning, but just by his association, I woke up in the morning. I thought maybe do some service. I yesterday went again in the morning. I'm not a morning morning person, but I went there and I requested him. I did the DD services and in the morning, and I came home. So what is this? Is this contagious? Bhakti is contagious. One person, just looking at him, and if you observe him how he does, you will get completely satisfied of what he does, how he does. Because of him, I got inspired. So as I said, I'm not into very much deep in the Shastras, but I'm at least understanding with my realizations. So how do you really get satisfied is to do the services of Krishna. Because with our material senses, our everything is conceivable, not inconceivable. Krishna is inconceivable. We cannot understand anything because we're completely in our four walls, like a frog in a well, and we may not understand other things, what's going on. So what will happen? It is within our boundaries. This is me and mine. This is what I want, and this is my desire. Keep going, keep going, keep going. And we don't realize we are already 60 years, we are already 70 years, and time is already come to leave. And we are thinking, oh, yeah, I did not do this, I did not do this. Then we'll take birth again to satisfy further desires. And this is going on time immemorial. This is kind of, the more we speak about this, at least it will get registered in our mind that what we are doing. It is like this, right? A person is sick. If he understands that he is sick, then he will approach a doctor, get treatment. If we don't understand that we are sick, until somebody comes and tell us, "Arey Baba, you are sick. You have to go get treatment. I'm having this problem, that problem," and then we end up in the hospital in emergency. Otherwise, instead, somebody will say, "You are sick. Please go and approach a doctor." Till that time, we don't even go. So when do we go? That emergency will never come to us in our life. Even at least that emergencies sometimes come when somebody passed away and you are in that situation looking at it, oh my God, oh, this is what happened. Then that time we realize, okay, this is a serious situation. We also should do this. And then only at that point of time, we realize after that we'll forget again, because Krishna has given that forgetfulness very easily. We'll tend to forget every moment. So the point is, how do we even know that we are sick? Because some other person has to tell that we are sick. Are Baba, you are in this material world for a time immemorial move, and then you will do whatever you need to do. You will never get satisfied. Just go approach the devotees, be in the association of Krishna, devotees of Krishna, do some services, then you will get satisfied. So the real satisfaction comes only when we are doing and in connection with Krishna, we are satisfied. Yeah, no, we were practicing many years, and we are all doing this every day. But of course, the desires are there to many things. But at least we have to come to the realization that nothing will satisfy us other than Krishna service. That may be ultimate realization. That's why we may come to know, but still we may not do it. The person who is really self-satisfied means Krishna is self-satisfied, but his devotees also are very well satisfied. They are very greedy in spreading the words of Krishna, knowledge of Krishna. That is their desire. So the desire changes. The desire is there. Desire cannot stop, but the desire changes into what are we supposed to, that desire changes to service of Krishna. I think this is my realization, this is my understanding from this verse. I think it's 8 o'clock. I'll stop here. If anybody has anything, comments, questions, please go ahead. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. I see Jai. I can see that Gopal Hari Prabhu is there. Prabhu, please make us understand. I know I would have missed many things. If you have some time, please go ahead, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. It's such a wonderful class, and so well explained. And I was just looking at this verse and also thinking about how this is kind of like it's a what do they say? Yeah, it's a irony. It's ironic that although the Lord is not like boys, because they are encouraged by their desire to play, and the Lord has no desire. But on the other hand, the Lord, although self-satisfied, plays just like boys play.
yeah, that's a nice point.
Yeah. Yes. Because this question also comes up in the Vedanta Sutra, that if the Lord is fully self-satisfied, why does he create? He has no reason to create because he's
Mm,
fully self-satisfied.
mm,
And therefore, the opponent says that therefore the Lord cannot be the creator, because if he's the Lord, then he's self-satisfied. And if he's the creator, then he cannot be the Lord. So the Lord cannot be the creator because no one does anything for no reason. And then the Vedanta Sutra then responds that no, the Lord can still create, because although he's fully self-satisfied, he still likes to play. He still
mm,
plays, and because he plays, therefore he does so, not because he has a need, but his creation is his lila, it is his play. Simply out of play he does it. So that's the boys, like the children playing. But then there's two aspects. Children actually need it, but Krishna doesn't need it. But a person can still play even if they don't need to play.
mm.
Isn't it?
So that brings a very nice point that Krishna plays around, in spite of having everything. That means he is eligible to play.
Yes.
we, we are thinking, so the person enjoys, that means play. When does that play comes, it's like a false play for us, even though we don't own anything. The person is, so how can he has so many responsibilities. We have so many responsibilities, but we cannot play actually. We may be playing here and there, but we cannot play the way Krishna plays. That means Krishna, because he is a creator, and the owner always enjoys, right?
Yes. Actually, you said it nicely, that although Krishna has no need, but
Yeah.
still we not deny him the right to play. In other words, we play and we enjoy, so Krishna is also enjoying and playing, and this is his and therefore out of his desire, so to say, although he has no need, but out of his spontaneous, out of just simply who he is, a playful being, he creates other living entities so that he can enjoy with them, and he allows or creates the exchange of love, the phenomena of love, and in the course of doing so, therefore, he also creates the material world, so that if we don't want to play with him, if we if we do that, then we fall down. So, yeah.
Nice, bro. Thank you so much. Very nice conversation. Hari.
Thank you, Mataji. Prabhu, thank you, and it was a very wonderful class. I really enjoyed listening to you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, as usual, wonderful class, lot of points, but on the last point that was being discussed between you and Gopal Hari Prabhu, actually 26th chapter of the third canto is all about the, material elements. Kapila Muni, the Lord himself is describing Sankhya philosophy to his mother Devahuti, and actually it's the 4th and 5th verses. In the 4th verse, Kapila Muni says, this entire creation is my external energy, and it's my lila. I play with this creation. And verse number 5, he says, the Jivatmas, when they play, he's the Purusha, and the material energy is Prakriti. Whereas the Jivatma, thinking that he is the Purusha, he plays with the material energy, he gets bound, and he's in knots. So, the next verse, I think it's the 6th one or the 7th one, he also says it is knowledge of knowing your position which helps you cut the knots in your heart, Hrudaya Granthi Beda, so cutting that knots, that is how you get out of this material world and go back to the Lord, where you can play and you can also be satisfied, like how you were explaining.
Wow.
We were reading this yesterday, Prabhuji. That's why I remember it so clearly. Thank you
One
so much, Prabhuji.
getting that, the more you play here, you'll get binded. Krishna plays is no binder. He's detached, not attached. But the more we play here, we'll get attached. That's the thing. Very nice, Prabhu. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. I think we'll stop here. It's already 8:07. If anybody else has anything in the last minute, otherwise we can stop. Lakshmikant, Prabhu.
Yeah, no, thank you, Prabhu. I mean, it's a nice class. I was just trying to understand the sequence. Vidra is asking his confusion. I think Gopal Hari Prabhu nicely put together. So I
Yeah.
was reading also, I mean, Gurudan Prabhu's thing, what he was trying to say, I mean, from these verses. He was saying Vidra is going to ask 3 questions in this section, it looks like. So, I mean, because yesterday's verse also, I mean, it is a nice verse. It's continuation of today's one, right? It's confusion
Yes.
because
Yes.
Vidra understands the Lord is the creator and he's self-satisfied and everything. But then how the material modes are acting on him, right? How is he getting desire? So how is he
Yeah.
acting?
There is no answer yet. It's still question only. You're right.
I mean, until now. So, but yeah, so actually, I think Burjan Prabhu gives a commentary by Jiva Goswami and Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur. So we can read that maybe tomorrow. So a small section. So
Wonderful.
thank you.
Yeah, the more you discuss, you feel discussing more. This is it should be a 1 hour class then.
Yeah,
Thank you, Prabhu.
thank you.
Already. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo nantakoti vaishnavandiki cha.